assignment as a church. And our assignment is to win one person to Christ a day. Okay, the whole church. And we're on this big email. And when somebody wins somebody to Christ, we put out an email, we celebrate, and that's it. Okay? So if we did that every day for a year, at the end of the year, how many disciples would we have as a church?
365.
365. Move to that in class. So if we did that for 30 years, we would have 10,000 and something. We would have 10,000 and something disciples. 3 people would do one Christ. Right?
10,000.
Yeah. One disciple every day for 30 years. Now, I meet Glenn. I walk him through, leading to Christ. And then for 1 year, I disciple Glenn. At the end of the year, how many disciples would I have made? One. Then I tell Glenn to make a disciple. So he finds out. You got a relationship with Alan? He leads out. I got Milry, because I'm going to continue. So I disciple Milry. At the end of year 2, how many disciples do we have? 4. If we did that for 30 years, each year, one person that we're ministering to, how many disciples do you think we would have? $4.2 billion. Exponential. See, the group, the big, large program stuff, it's not about that. It's one person. And if you keep multiplying that and not rushing it, that's what you'll get. Let's call it that. It's called relationship. Again, was known for their riches. American church. And they were known in 3 areas. Medical or medicine, modern day pharmaceutical industry, banking, and of course we know that's big business in America, and clothing, what you could say is retail. Although this area was very rich, they didn't have a water supply. They didn't have a water supply. So they would get their hot water from Colossus. And they would get their cold water from Hierapolis. Cold represents refreshing. When we're hot, what do we want? Nice cold glass of water. Hot represents healing. Okay? So this is what's so important about what Jesus is saying to them, is because basically what he's saying is, so when they needed water, Colossus would pump hot water to them, and Hierapolis would pump cold water. But by the time it got to them, guess what it was? So you see why he would say that to them. So basically what he's saying is, you're neither hot, you don't have any healing properties, and you're neither cold, you're not refreshing. I have no need for you. because you're lukewarm. I would rather you be hot, healing, or cold, refreshing. But you're neither. And this represents, again, the modern day American church. So in that scripture he talked about, because they were known, again, for their medical industry. He talked about them putting the eye salve to open up their eyes spiritually so they could see him. And the one thing that, again, that related me to these lessons and the videos we've been watching is we are rich. And we do give. But our giving is kind of lukewarm based on what we have. Does that make sense? When the person questioned Jesus about should you pay taxes to Caesar, and he asked for a coin. The person gives the question, whose image is on the coin? It says Caesar's. So he says, render, whatever word render in the Greek is, give back to Caesar what is Caesar. And he says something very profound. And render or give back to God what is God's. The image on the coin was Caesar's, that's his. The image on man is God. That's his. So he owns it all. But we got to give God us first. Step all the way in. Sometimes we just got our feet in the water. These webinars and seminars, and they always talk about having a life statement. And I've always had one in my head, but now I put it to paper. So my life statement, basically, these things I was just sharing with you, that's the reason that I get up. That, like, I know why God wakes me up every day to engage the world. And it's to make disciples. It's to infuse people with the mandate of Matthew 28, 19, and 20, to go and make disciples. So we'll, and I wasn't planning on this, but we'll talk about that life statement. I'll share mine with you. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I'll share mine with you so you kind of see the structure. And again, with that mission, it gives you, it drives you. You know, when you don't feel like doing something, I look at that life statement in front of me, I got it, because it's not about me. I got to do this for the nations. This is a God calling. It's a God assignment. And we should have that. You know, somebody's may be for you and your wife to minister to couples. You know, one's, you know, business guy. His may be to talk to people about how to be a Christian in business. See, one of the things that happens is oftentimes we're trying to fit things in our life. Like we're trying to fit discipling and discipleship in our life. We're trying to fit, you know, my Christian walk into my busy life. That's the wrong way.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Because if that's the case, our schedules need to be adjusted. So Alan has a courier service. Been in the business over 20 years. Know his stuff. So entrepreneur is what you would call him. But Alan's not an entrepreneur. He's a disciple, cleverly disguised as an entrepreneur. So he shows the world what a Christian entrepreneur looks like in the marketplace. You're IT, right, Jeff?
No. But I'm an economist.
Economist.
That's it.
Jeff's not an economist. He's a disciple, cleverly disguised as an economist that shows the world what a disciple, what a Christian disciple economist looks like. They didn't know, they only know good. They only knew basically what God told them. But then there were two trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of knowledge of good and evil represent experience, representing knowing good and evil and determining that for yourself. And they had a choice. They chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil. When I look at that, just like experience, God never designed us to live by experience. He designed us to live by obedience. Just like us as parents. When we give our kids, we tell them something to do, we're not like, oh, it's an option. You want to go out and take the car and drive where I told you not to go, drink what I told you not to drink, and sleep with who I told you not to sleep. Yeah, it's your option. No, we give them a directive for them to respond in obedience. And that's what God did. But they chose experience. Let me taste and see. Because they believed a lie that the serpent said, surely you won't die. But see, God knows you'll be like him.